Welcome back to my channel where I'm telling you how you can vacation so much more often for much less money. Today, I want to tell you how I got $9,000 worth of cruises for just $2,000. So back in June, I went on the Norwegian Luna on a complimentary cruise. I paid $350 for taxes and port fees to get on the ship and Norwegian's admin fee of $20 a person per day. But when I got on that ship, I had no intention of actually reaching the required casino points to get the 14-night offer. Well, I ended up getting there. I had to spend $2,000 out of pocket. But I knew that the value I was going to get out of spending that $2,000 was so much greater than $2,000, so it really made sense to actually try to get that offer. And I did. By the sixth night, I ended up with 2,043 points. So I called in just to make sure that I received that offer, and I did. I was able to choose any sailing up to 14 nights anywhere in the world, minus the Pride of America out of Hawaii because there is not a casino on that ship. So I've been looking. I had 2 months to book it. I finally found the sailing that I wanted to book. I landed on it. My heart was set on it. And I called the other day to book it. To my surprise, I found out I had yet another free cruise offer from Norwegian. I didn't know that. I did not expect it. Honestly, didn't really know how Norwegian's casino program works at this point because that was my first Norwegian cruise. Well, when I called in, I told him I was looking to book this trip, and he said, "Which offer would you like to use?" I said, "What do you mean, which offer?" Y'all, I had another free cruise in my Norwegian portal, a 9-night cruise. There are some stipulations with that one. I can't go on the Norwegian Luna. I can't go on the Aura, which is their new ship getting ready to launch. And I can't go on the Pride of America, and it's up to 9 nights on any sailing other than that. Well, I finally decided on a sailing for that. The first one I'm going to tell you about, my heart was just set on. I was talking about Asia, but I wasn't really that excited because of the logistics to get to Asia. It's just going to be a lot. But this other one, the logistics are much more favorable for me flying from Orlando. It's a direct flight to and from these destinations. So I called to book a Northern Europe cruise. Yes, next week I'm going to the Mediterranean, and it's my first time in Europe. Now I'm going to be going back to Europe again, this time on a Northern Europe cruise, and I could not be more excited because it goes to some of the most amazing places. So I'm going to be leaving from London. I've never been to England before, so that's going to be a crazy thing in itself. I'll spend a few days in England before I actually board the ship. This is an 11-night cruise. I'm going to be sailing on the Norwegian Prima, so it's very similar to the Luna, but a little bit older and a little bit different. I'm going to be leaving from London, and then I have a stop in Belgium. Then I have a stop in the Netherlands, and then after that, I have several days in Norway and several days in Iceland before I disembark the ship in, I don't know how to pronounce it, Reykjavik, Iceland. I'm not 100% sure, but I have a direct flight from Orlando to London, and then I have a direct flight from Reykjavik back to Orlando. So the flights are about $500 a piece, give or take. It's really not going to be that bad for this trip. And it's 11 nights. So I have enough time to really relax and enjoy these places. I don't know the first thing about Iceland, but I do know that this sailing is worth so much money. Okay, per person, right now, online, this sailing costs $2,699. So $2,700 per person. I got that cruise for just $350, taxes and port fees. Isn't that insane? Y'all, that's not all I've decided on. So I've got that one booked. We're ready to go. I'm going there in June of next year. But I think that I'm going to use my 9-night offer to go back to Alaska on Norwegian. I've only been to Alaska on Royal Caribbean, and I went several years ago. Let's see, I think it was 2023 when I went to Alaska, and it was my second or third free cruise that I did. It was actually my mom's offer. She took my brother and I both to Alaska. We added my brother to the room, and we upgraded to a balcony, and it was about $1,000 all in for a week on an Alaska balcony cruise because of the casino. So I would love to go back to Alaska again. I hear Norwegian is really good in Alaska, and the Norwegian sailing I found is 9 nights, so I get, as best I can with the nights I'm offered. It's on the Norwegian Joy. Don't know a whole lot about that ship, but it's round trip from Seattle, and the itinerary on that one is going to be really nice. Last time I went to Alaska, we unfortunately had to skip Skagway because of the boulders. There were some problems with boulders, maybe fall on the cruise port doesn't sound great. So we had to skip Skagway. Unfortunately, Skagway is probably what I was most looking forward to on that cruise because I wanted to take that train all through the mountain. Absolutely gorgeous. I didn't get to do it. On this sailing, I would be able to go back to Skagway. We go to Sitka, which I've already been to. Glacier Bay cruising, I did not get to do that last time. Icy Strait Point, which I've been to. Skagway, so excited. Juneau, which I have been to Juneau. I'll probably go back to the Mendenhall Glacier there. It was so fantastic. Then I'm going to be going to Ketchikan, which I've already been there. And then I have a stop in Victoria, British Columbia, which unfortunately, on my first and only Alaskan cruise, we had to skip Victoria because of weather. We got to look at it sailing by. So I wanted to go to Canada on that trip, did not get to go on that trip. Hopefully this trip, if I decide to book this one, hopefully this one is going to be stopping at all the ports and I don't have to cancel anything. So this one is actually in May of next year, which means I'd be flying to Seattle and going on a 9-night cruise in May, and then I'd turn right around in June and fly over to London to go on an 11-night cruise. That's a lot as a working man. But I'm going to figure out how to make it happen because I looked through a lot of different sailings for this 9-night offer. I have to go by May of 2027. And I could go back to the Mediterranean and do like the Greek Isles thing. I think it would be about a 7-night cruise if I did that, which is okay. I could spend a couple nights before or after in whatever different port that is. But I'm kind of really leaning back towards going to Alaska just so I can experience the things I did not get to experience last time. So back to how I got $9,000 worth of free cruises for $2,000. I spent that $2,000, got the 14-night offer and a 9-night offer. I didn't know anything about that 9-night offer. So that is 23 days worth of free cruises for $2,000. Let me get my phone out. I'm going to see 2,000 divided by 23. That means I could sail on some of the nicest ships anywhere in the world, all these beautiful, fantastic ports, for under $87 a day. That's insane. Of course, this doesn't include my taxes, port fees, and admin fee, and this does not include gratuities or my travel to and from these places. But if you're not booking through a casino offer, you're not getting any of those things anyways. You're going to have to pay all of that. In addition, I would have had to pay $2,700 a piece for this cruise I'm going on in Northern Europe. And then this cruise that I'm looking at here in Alaska is actually over $1,700 a piece. So that is a massive value I'm getting for that $2,000 budget that I ended up spending on Norwegian. So I preach a lot about how to do this affordably, so that way you can go on as many trips as you can. $2,000 to me spending in the casino was like, that's too much. I didn't want to do it. I didn't plan to do it. When I went on the Luna, I budgeted my standard $1,000. I always, on a week-long cruise, will budget $1,000. And y'all, I don't go over it. When I hit that, I'm done. Hopefully, I win some back, but I am not spending more than that out of pocket. It was a lot, but that 14-night cruise was like, it was dangling right there in front of me, and I saw it. Well, I spent my $1,000, and I ended up getting to 1,500 points. Then I thought, I'm only 500 points away. I can't stop. So I went to the ATM, I took another $500 out. Didn't get to 2,000 points with that. So I went back to the ATM again and took another $500 out. I was able to hit 2,000 points with that. So my $2,000 investment has turned into 23 nights of cruises across Northern Europe and potentially Alaska. I think that is a fantastic investment considering everybody else would have had to spend almost $9,000 to take these same cruises. So on standard sailings on Royal Caribbean, it's a lot easier to get offers like this one. This offer comes in the mail very, very often, almost every single day. And you can get one of these offers. You start out getting these offers, and they get a little better as you spend more money. But you can get these offers with points as low as 400, 600, 800 points. Yes, on the newer sailings and sometimes the newer ships and sometimes the longer sailings, it does cost more, the points, to get an instant certificate. But when I started, and very often still on older ships, it's those low point offers, 400, 600, 800 points to get an instant certificate for a free cruise. So some of them are going to be a free cruise fare for one. Some of them are for you and your guest. That's the ones I book. That's always the ones I book. This one is a room for two, so I could potentially book this. And on any of these sailings, I would just have to pay taxes and port fees. It's easier to get these on Royal Caribbean than it is on Norwegian. However, Royal Caribbean's stipulation is when you get a free cruise, they send you the list. Like, this is all you have to pick from for this offer. I can't say, I want to use my offer and go on this certain cruise that I found, because if it's not on this list, you ain't getting on that cruise. With Norwegian, though, I feel like the value is there to spend enough to get that 2,000 point offer, because anywhere 14 nights is a crazy thing. The only stipulation that you have with that offer is you have to book within 2 months, you have to sail within a year, and you cannot go on the Pride of America out of Hawaii. Obviously, you're not going to go on a casino cruise on a ship that doesn't have a casino, so that makes perfect sense. But it's been hard for me to justify the Norwegian spending to people who were just starting out, because $2,000 is a lot of money. You could book another couple short Caribbean sailings for that, but what you cannot do is book 23 nights worth of cruises in Northern Europe and Alaska for that price, and you're not going to be able to choose those sailings on Royal Caribbean or Carnival. But Norwegian, you have the freedom to choose whatever you want to choose from, minus their very small stipulations. So personally, I think the Norwegian casino program is very worth it. Some people don't like Norwegian for the food or the service or the atmosphere. I really enjoyed my trip on the Luna. My next Norwegian cruise I have planned is in November, going through French Polynesia. It's 13 nights, and I paid $420 for that sailing. It should have cost me $6,000 as a solo traveler to go through French Polynesia, but I only paid $420. There is no possible way, if you're a travel agent, if you just find a last minute sailing, if you do anything other than a casino offer, you're never going to find the prices that I've been able to book all these cruises for. So I've been telling everybody that'll listen how you can start getting offers with Royal Caribbean as my recommendation. And then you take your offers and do an offer match at another cruise line with those. That's exactly how I'm going to the Mediterranean next week on Princess. It was an offer match. I've never stepped foot on Princess before. It's exactly how my mom and I were able to go on the Norwegian Luna in June because of an offer match. It's how I was able to book the Norwegian Spirit in November through an offer match. $420 for 13 nights through the French Polynesian Islands. I'm leaving from Tahiti and I'm ending in Fiji. It's crazy to say out loud. Like, who am I and how did I get here? It's really unbelievable. But Norwegian is, I don't know that I would recommend starting your casino journey on Norwegian, but it certainly is one to look into if you've never been on Norwegian before, and you can do an offer match and you can budget enough to get that 2,000 point offer. I mean, the possibilities are almost endless. And now that I know that Norwegian will send out additional offers beyond the first one that you get, that is fantastic. I don't know if I'm going to keep getting offers from Norwegian until I go on them and sell on them again. So at this point in time, I've got 2 Norwegian cruises booked for a total of 24 nights on opposite sides of the globe because of casino offers. And I still have to book this other one, and I'm probably going to go to Alaska, but I could potentially go back to the Mediterranean. I don't know. That's some tough decisions that I'm going to have to make with my family. But if you've ever considered Norwegian and you don't want to pay the high price of cruise fare, I would implore you to go on Royal Caribbean and play enough to get that first instant certificate. You might budget $500 or $1,000. Get that instant certificate. Go on that first free cruise. Play just enough to keep getting the offers. If you want to play more and start getting balconies or suites, absolutely, by all means, do that. But when you start getting these offers in the mail and your email and your app, take this to Norwegian. Take it to Princess. Take it to Virgin Voyages. There are several that do offer matches. This is how you see the world on a budget, and I have figured it out. Nobody told me about this. I didn't read online. There wasn't a news article. I just figured this out over time by wanting to do things and wanting to figure out in the most economical way that I could possibly do it. And it's through these casino offers, y'all. It's hard to believe that this is even a thing, but I hope that somebody out there watching this video is going to say, maybe I should submit my offers to Norwegian. And you can go on a 14-night cruise anywhere in the world. Go to Asia, go to Australia, go to Alaska, go to the Mediterranean, Northern Europe. Do anything you want to do. Just don't pay full price for it. That's what I want y'all to stop doing, paying full price. Eventually, you're going to start getting perks like free drinks, waived specialty dining, spa credits, free Wi-Fi. Things like that come with time. But what you want right now is just to get on that ship. Get on the ship, go enjoy yourself, spend as least you can on a cruise fare, budget that money in the casino to earn your points. And then eventually you can start cruising all over the world for free, just like what I'm doing. I started doing this December of 2022 was when the first free cruise came. And now it is August of 2026, and I'm getting on my 23rd free cruise next weekend in Rome. So I am a real person. I can show you how to do it. I can tell you how I did it. I just hope somebody's going to comment on this video and say, I submitted to Norwegian and I got the offer. Or they're going to say, I just went to Royal Caribbean and I got my first instant certificate. That makes me so happy to know that people are living their life a little bit extra just because of the things that I've put out there on the internet. There are people that don't want me to do it, but I'm going to keep doing it because that is what makes it worth it to me. So I appreciate y'all watching my channel. Thank you for supporting. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. I'm going to be posting so much content next week in Europe when I land. I'll be there in 5 days.